YTBC, this is your boy Coach Shelton Harrison. And guys, I just want to talk about Ryota Murata. Guys, I want to talk about this guy. He's definitely good middleweight sensation that's coming up. And I'm going to tell y'all something, okay? When I'm just watching a few of this guy, I'm just watching his fights, man, watching his fights. This guy definitely got the tools to be really dominant in the middleweight division. The only thing I hope, and I hope that Bob Arum don't get in there and mess it up. I hope Bob Arum don't come in and mess it up for this guy. I hope he don't. Like I hope Bob really groom this guy because this guy watching him, man. I'm sitting here looking at him. I'm like, hey, man, this guy can be a threat in the middleweight division, like for real. Like I'm looking at him and I'm looking at, how he's progressing fight by fight. And the guy's, big, tall, 6 foot guy, very rangy, man, very rangy, and he's knocking dudes out, knocking them out, putting them on the canvas, knocking them out cold, and he, got a lot of speed, and he can box. I do want to see him work, a little bit more defensively. I think he do need to, move his head and learn how to slip punches a little bit better, and maybe, I think he needs to work on, pivoting out of situations. I think those are some of the small things that I see that he can correct in the gym. But I also like the fact that he's with his trainer, Salas. I'm glad he's with Ismail Salas, okay? Because, I'm sitting here and, when I watch fights, I also watch the trainers and what they do. And you know what? Salas keeps the guy calm, man. He's one of those trainers that they really, really, really under the radar. Like if you don't watch boxing, you've never heard of Ismail Salas, okay? If you watch boxing, like all of us in the YTBC, we know who Ishmael Salas is. We know who he is. Real, real calm and cool and very, very type of positive guy, man. Like, if you're, getting beat up in a fight, he's going to keep your head on straight. He's going to keep it on straight to where you don't panic. And I like this guy for this guy. I just hope that Bob Arum don't mess it up. And I'm just saying, Bob Arum has had a tendency, like I think Bob Arum brought Vasyl Lomachenko. I think he pushed Vasyl Lomachenko too fast. Even though Vasyl Lomachenko, to me, is a good fighter, is an extremely good fighter, I think Bob Arum just pushed him too fast. But I think that this guy, Murata, definitely, I think this guy can be Bob Arum's next cash cow if Bob Arum don't mess it up. Okay, he can. The guy's got a lightning fast jab. He got a lightning fast jab. I mean, his footwork is okay. Like he can actually step in and out. He can get in and get out. He don't really remind me. He don't remind me of a Manny Pacquiao. He's a bit more. He's a bit more patient. He's a bit more patient than say a Manny Pacquiao. If you want to compare styles and just compare him at all, he's a bit more patient than a Manny Pacquiao, but he will tend to want to slug it out. Like he'll want to slug and stand there sometimes. He'll definitely stand there, slug it out like a Marquez will sometimes slug it out. But he, does have a tendency to get defensive and step out of range, which I like that. And this guy is, he won a gold medal, man. And these days in the Olympic to win a gold medal, that's hard to do. Well, if you're American anyway, but I don't discredit anything this guy's done. This guy's a good fighter, y'all. He's a good fighter. And I definitely believe that give him about 10 more fights, he gonna be ready to challenge a real hardcore contender in the 160-pound weight class. I don't know if him and Triple G will ever get to mix it up. I don't really know. I don't really know that because Triple G may or may stay at 160. He may move up by the time this guy really gets up to speed. I mean, I just don't know. And I don't want to go and throw him in there to the wolves right now because he get in there with a Triple G or a Peter Quillen or Andy Lee. If you throw him into the wolves and get him into the ring with one of those guys, it's gonna end bad for him right now because I don't think he can handle those guys yet. But give him 10 fights, give him 10 more fights, and I definitely believe this guy, he's gonna be a definite, maybe even a future cash cow for Bob Arum. I mean, I can see it. If Bob Arum do everything correct with this guy. He don't push him too fast. If he let the guy mature, just let him mature gradually over time. This guy could be a future cash cow. I mean, yeah, he fights in Japan, but I think that's going to all change. I think eventually he's going to have to come and fight here in America a few times to be a cash cow for Bob Arum. But Bob, without a shadow of a doubt, Bob Arum will make sure that he fights in America. That's gonna happen. You know, also too. See, I think Bob Arum learned from Vasyl Lomachenko. I think Bob Arum really did because Bob Arum does have a tendency, man, to put these guys in there early. It's a good thing for Vasyl Lomachenko, even though he suffered a loss his first pro fight, even though he did. But Vasyl Lomachenko has so much confidence in his own ability that that didn't shake him up. I mean, Vasyl Lomachenko, point blank, you know, just he believes in his own ability, so he came back out and he's been going strong now. But see, everybody is not like a Vasyl Lomachenko. It's just not everybody's not going to be great like Vasyl Lomachenko will be. So I mean, Bob Arum need to play his cards right with this guy. This guy's an Olympian, man, gold medals. I mean, you know, I'm just saying the guy has got some skill sets. I like his jab. I think he needs to commit to his jab a little bit more. But I do like the fact that this guy is not afraid to work the body. His footwork to me is good. He's always on his toes, which I like that. I can't stand a boxer that just moves around the ring flat-footed. I can't stand that. But this guy always gets up on his toes. He can fight off the ropes a little bit, which I found that I was like, man, I don't see that from fighters in Japan very often. Them just staying on the ropes and fighting off the ropes. But he fights off the ropes. But he's 29 though. He's 29, and it's kind of like, okay, all right. So can he fight? Maybe about 3 or 4 more times a year to get him 10 more good fights up on this belt to really, really start being a challenger, man, in this middleweight division. Because right now he's ranked, 13th or 14th right now. And guys, I saw nothing but good things out of this guy. Okay, I'm gonna keep following him because I just kind of, people have been talking about this guy, and I said, man, I really want to go watch this guy, really see how he competes. But no, let's not throw him in the ring yet. Let's not throw him to the wolves yet. Let's let this guy really do his thing. Let's let him mature. But I'm pretty excited about watching him, man. I can't wait to see him fight again. And his next fight is coming up, man. He's got a fight lined up against Gunnar Jackson. And I think that's gonna be a washout. I think he's gonna beat the hell out of Gunnar Jackson. I think he's gonna beat him pretty easily, really, man. But we'll see. This is boxing. This is sport of boxing, man. And anything could happen in the sport of boxing. You're one punch away from getting knocked out, or losing your whole livelihood. But this guy Gunnar Jackson, though, he's gonna be a tough opponent because he's never been knocked out. And even watching some of Gunnar Jackson's fight, man, I'm just not really overly impressed with him. I mean, he's very durable. Gunnar Jackson is durable. He's not gonna fold, okay? So Murata gonna have to put in a lot of work on this guy to get him out of there. But I still think Murata's probably gonna get him out of there by round 8. Okay, I don't think this guy he gonna go the distance because again, Murata skill set is pretty good, man. I like the man's skill set. You guys tell me what you think about this guy, and what do you think Bob Arum should do with him? You guys give me your thoughts and comments, okay? This is your boy Coach Shelton Harrison. I'm done.